The chair recognizes Brianna Booker, Children's Defense Fund of Ohio. Welcome to committee, Brianna.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Chair Abrams, Vice Chair Miller, Ranking Member Thomas, and members of the committee, thank you all so much for opportunity to present testimony regarding H.R. 148. My name is Brianna Booker, and I'm the Policy Associate for the Children's Defense Fund of Ohio. We are a statewide multi-issue child advocacy organization that has worked on behalf of children, young people, and families in this state for 45 years. And our mission is to build community so that young people grow up with dignity, with hope, and with joy. And so today I'm here standing in strong support of H.R. 148, which we believe lays a critical foundation for stronger legislative safeguards preventing firearm-related child deaths. Across Ohio, preventable firearm deaths continue to claim the lives of our children, far too many of our children. According to the 2023 Child Fatality Report, 86% of child firearm deaths reviewed from 2018 to 2022 were determined to be preventable. And one critical pathway to prevention is ensuring families have access to education and resources on the importance of safe firearm storage. H.R. 148's focus on mobilizing state and local agencies, community organizations, and other key stakeholders is essential to making that education possible, making that education accessible, and making it effective across our state. And by clearly highlighting practical safe storage strategies, including the use of lock boxes, trigger locks, and separating ammunition from the firearm, this resolution helps to ensure that safe storage practices are also understandable and achievable for families across Ohio. But while we fully support this resolution as an important first step, we must also acknowledge that safe storage practices and voluntary measures alone are insufficient to protect our children. In addition to promoting responsible firearm storage, the legislature must invest in the communities that are on the front lines of preventing harm. Community organizations across Ohio have consistently reinforced this to us, emphasizing that without adequate resources, encouragement alone does very little to strengthen their capacity to prevent violence. As one minister from Columbus shared, community stakeholders want to do that work, but without your backing, it is nearly impossible. In Akron, leaders described always operating on a shoestring, noting that there was a lot of really fantastic work going on in their area, but because it is under-resourced, it struggles to continue. And in Cleveland, community leaders underscored that their work is too often dismissed as volunteering or community service, when in reality, they are being asked to enter really dangerous situations without any resources other than their proximity to people and to pain. These organizations need more than your encouragement. They need financial support. Efforts to share information and raise awareness about safe storage cannot reach its full potential without state investment in the organizations being asked to carry out that task. And so for that reason, while we fully support H.R. 148, we also want to encourage you to consider a broader set of findings and recommendations outlined in our recently published report, and it is linked in the testimony, on the current state of firearm policy and violence prevention efforts here in Ohio. We highlight several evidence-based strategies shaped by community input that together provide essential and effective ways to keep Ohio's children safe. And so again, we stand in strong support of this resolution, but we urge you to view it as an important first step, not as a last step, and certainly not as the only step. H.R. 148 is essential, and it will meaningfully improve the safety and well-being of young people and families across our state, but its impact is dependent upon pairing it with additional legislative action to invest in and support local community interventions. And as we emphasize in this report, each of us has a profound obligation, each of you has a profound obligation to ensure that every child not only has the chance to grow up with dignity, hope, and joy, as we say at the Children's Defense Fund, but also the chance to grow up at all. And so again, I encourage the passage of this resolution to serve as just the first step in evidence of that commitment by the Ohio General Assembly. And at this time, I will take any questions that the committee may have.
Thank you for your testimony, Ms. Booker. Are there any questions from the committee? Representative Brewer.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Thank you, Ms. Booker, for coming to support this resolution. In your testimony, you talked about investment in community strategies, which is something that I'm working on as well. Could you tell the committee what would that look like?
Yeah.
How does that look in investment in organizations, communities who are doing boots on the ground work?
Yeah, so there are several organizations across Ohio that work on violence prevention, and that's whether it has to do with safe storage itself or other methods of violence prevention, and that's for both suicides and homicides, preventing all types of gun violence for our children. Later today, I'll distribute a QR code to your offices that have specifics, but investing in those programs is essential. Several communities have offices of violence prevention. It would be wonderful if our state did something similar, and in order really to create coordination between those offices that are already existing. We also encourage you all to invest, like I said, in the organizations that already have the knowledge and expertise versus creating new systems, and really creating communication. Also, one of the things that the report stresses is that violence prevention can take a variety of different pathways, whether that be through law enforcement, which we've talked a lot about in this committee today, through organizations that work independent of law enforcement or organizations that work with it. And so investing in all the different types of prevention strategies is very important.